Hey, welcome back to the RV Solar Channel. And we're doing something a little bit different. There is a cabin in the woods, and it's blowing fuses, and we are going to fix it. Come along, let's see what's going on. All right, we are out in the wilderness here. We are looking at a off-grid system. We're about ready to take it offline, but I wanted to talk about some of the things that I'm finding here and some of the things that we're going to change, because there's a lot that's making me nervous. All right, let's have a little bit better light, huh? So the initial complaint was this fuse kept blowing. You think? I mean, this is where sometimes I feel like fuses, if not installed properly or with the right holder, are actually more of a fire hazard than not having a fuse at all. But we're going to correct that. They've been saying this entire wire heats up a lot. And yeah, and I think they said this fuse is blown once before. The holder doesn't look in horrible shape. And then I got two lithium 12-volt batteries. This is a 12-volt system. It's just running a cabin. Not crazy loads. Just a microwave for 5-10 minutes at the most, and a fridge and a well pump. But they're saying they're having a lot of problems with it, so we're going to try and fix them up. The plan is, I think we're going to try and introduce one of our dihole breakers into the system to replace this shutoff and the main fuse. And what's kind of weird to me about this is we're actually running the Lynx distributor here is kind of being used as a hybrid power in. Even though it has the fuse holders, they're not using those at all. So we're going to use the fuse holders. We're going to redo this. So we're going to get rid of that fuse holder, get rid of that fuse holder, reconfigure this for this to be an actual Lynx distributor, protect the main power in, have an actual main shutoff, because right now there is no shutoff. Now what's kind of weird is, or not weird, it's actually a good thing. They have each of the batteries having equal length cable to the Lynx distributor here. But in my mind, this is the least of the problems. So I think we're actually going to reconfigure this to be run them in parallel and do the diagonal wiring on it. That way we've got a single set of conductors we can run through our breaker. Would it be ideal to run it all to a single bus bar? Yes. But I'm trying to make things better in this situation with what we have, the time allotted, and with what we have here. So that is my plan. The last thing I want to talk about is, check this out. You see this every now and again. See that space on the lugs? Yeah. For some reason, there's I think the copper washer is behind those or something. Like, oh my gosh, look at this. That is there. And the customer knows we're making this video. The customer did not do this initial build. So we're just trying to make it better again. And then here's something else I haven't really seen before. I mean, I've seen this on lead acid batteries, but not on lithiums. I'm wondering if they're off-gassing a little bit. You can see some of that residue on there. I don't know if they're damaged or not, but yeah, I'm going to be redoing these ends for sure. Well, we got the main lights back on, so that's good. So here's a quick recap on some of the changes we made. Ended up going to a more traditional diagonal battery wiring situation. So paralleled them first, and then we're taking one off the negative, one off the positive. Flip the shunt around. So now we just got one connection there. And then we're going up through the main breaker, which is again circuit protection and disconnect. And then we went and we ran that into the other side of the Lynx here. That works out real good. And then we'll put the cover back on. We don't have any washers under our connectors anymore. And we're about ready to do a generator load test, because some of the issues they were having, they're saying these wires were just getting so hot they couldn't, like, they could barely touch them, which is not good. That's not what we want. So we definitely want to test that and make sure that is working well. So far, past the initial test, which was running the fridge and the microwave at the same time. So we passed that. But we're going to try the generator and see what happens. The other thing I want to point out is you may notice, hey, we got 2-aught cable coming out of here. That's bigger than I would typically recommend, but we didn't have any more 2-gauge. That was my fault. I came a little unprepared to have any extra of that wire. So I just haircut these a little bit. They are mounted very securely in there. And so that'll be at least okay for now. It sounds like maybe doing some more upgrades in the future. But anyway, I think we should try that generator test here pretty quick. All right, generator's running, and it looks like we're pushing about 130 amps in. We're gonna let this run for a while and see if anything heats up too much. Should have had my FLIR camera today, but I didn't. All right, we've been running the generator for a while, and our amps are already way down. We're down to about 20-30 amps coming into the system, and we did get a little bit of heat, nothing crazy, just I would say, 5, maybe 10 degrees above ambient, which is perfectly fine. We did get, a little bit of heat through here, which is normal. These do generate some heat, but they are way better than something like this. Anytime we can cut our connection points down, the better, because what ends up making heat is every single one of these connections. So every time we can remove a connection, that's why, putting the shunt on here is really nice. And the previous installer did that, so that's good. We want to highlight the good. So customer seems to be thrilled, so we're going to button this all up and I think head back to the shop. Well, we had a great time out in the woods, avoiding deer or, any of that. There's a lot of hunters out there. But yeah, anyway, worked out great. A couple of things I want to talk about was those wires. I ended up talking with the customer later, those ends that were really corroded. He said he did have this system running on lead acid the previous winter for a while, so that's what that was about. I don't believe those lithium batteries are having any problems at all. Actually, they came up extremely balanced. As we were charging up with the battery or with the generator, they got up to about 14.57 volts without any high cell voltage cutoff, which is the sign of an extremely healthy battery. A lot of people will say, oh, wow, my batteries are really balanced. All the cells are in balance when it's, 13.6 or 13.8 volts. That doesn't mean anything. Lithium is super balanced at that level. It's when you get it up above 14 and a half volts. If it's still balanced and it's still taking amps at that point, that battery is extremely healthy. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than, I don't know that we're going to be doing a ton of cabins, but this particular customer had been on my mind and in my ear through most of the year. We've been talking in the spring, and so I was super thrilled that we were able to help them out and get their system up and working. And like I said, there may be some upgrades in the future on that. He's thinking about 24 volts, maybe 48, who knows. So if I think that about does it on this video. If you have any questions, concerns, on solar you want it in your RV, that's mostly what we do. But I'm up in the air if we're going to keep doing cabins and that sort of stuff or not. There's a lot of stuff. But I'd be happy to talk about it. You can check us out at sotasolar.com. That's spelled, with solar, like those words. So, yeah, we will, see you again soon. I hope. Subscribe to really make sure that you do see us again. And as you can tell, I have a hard time talking sometimes because I'm human.